us the fresh maker.
Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that you're looking at running for president again.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red cake.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump will not become president.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Donald Trump will never, ever be president.
Moderator, but apparently believes that Donald Trump is a clown.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 30.
We have a key race alert right now. Donald Trump now has reached the number of delegates needed to clinch the Republican presidential nomination.
So right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. But come on, buddy.
Donald Trump, while we project, will win in Kentucky with its 8th electoral vote, in Indiana with its 11th electoral vote, West Virginia, Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes, North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri, Ohio, Idaho, North Carolina.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
Together, we will make America great again.
Good evening, Snake Pit. Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, D-Day Cobra, and I already see some awesomeness going on in the chat. I see, I see Andre CR for I think that's 5 USD, but Tanner is a little bitch that can't afford a super chat. You are sending me super chats to insult my haters. That is the greatest thing ever. And then I saw the Tanner person says, did you just send Jeremy money to insult me? Yes, they send me money to insult me. So of course they're going to send me money to insult you. It's great. It's a great gig. I like it. Andre also says, Tanner is mad people super chat to Jeremy. Don't you know that Jeremy needs super chats to buy new clothes? He only has one outfit. Look at that. So you insulted him and me in the member message. That's what it's all about around here. How's everybody doing today? Good to see all of you here. And yeah, I made a video earlier, and I'm going to be talking a lot about that video in terms of the map. The election map right now, the forecast is... it's downright scary. And obviously it's a good thing for Donald Trump, but it's also a very scary thing. And we're going to talk about all of that for sure. Colonel Douche Nozzle just dropped 20 gifted memberships. 20 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, man. Good to see you here. And, man, you've been supporting like crazy. You meant it when you said you're in a good position to support, and you've been watching for years. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. 20 gifted memberships. Maximus BT says, Breach for Trump. Stop that shit. Gerald Armstrong for $9.99 says, apparently a Secret Service agent was robbed during Sleepy Joe's fundraiser. Jeremy, you should look at Red Eagle Politics election forecast. He does them quite a bit. I actually had one of those hit my feed earlier on Red Eagle Politics. There's one that we're going to look at here tonight. It's from Election Time. And so we're going to check that one out. But yeah, a lot of these forecasts are, again, obviously, it's good news, but again, it makes me nervous. It makes me very, very nervous, and we're going to talk all about that. The Exalted Patriarch says, okay, this upcoming debate, I have a feeling the White House and the mainstream media will find a way to not have Biden on that stage. They will call in a ringer, Gavin Newsom. The speculation for Joe Biden not being the Democratic nominee is picking up a lot of steam as well. Especially after what we've seen over the last few days from Joe Biden. I think they're going to use the debate as the reason to get rid of Joe Biden. I think the debates are going to, I think they have that one, that's their backup plan in case that the debate goes really bad. That's going to be their excuse is like, he's just, this man has led us from, terrible places under Donald Trump, and he's done such a great job, but it's clear his age is just catching up with him. And the brave and stunning Gavin Newsom or Big Mike is going to step in and take on the role of the Democratic nominee. Something like that is going to happen. In my opinion. And I think the debates could be the place that they try to utilize that. Alex Jones member message with the Hail MAGA King Trump 2024. Let's go. Zinny Biscuit says, what's up, Pope Words? What's up? Pope Words, that's good. Cellular Dream says, Tanner is gay. Tanner, you are getting more attention than you have ever gotten in your entire life tonight. Emmanuel with the gifted membership. Thank you. Jeremy's Trump body pillow says there were more rear end collisions after they removed the no U-turn signals in California. Jeremy is gay for $10. Thank you. All right, look, I got to show you guys this before we really get started. We have a new Mentos commercial. That's right. We have a brand new one, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
It's so good, dude. It just works so good. The music is perfect. And that's ultimately the simplicity of people that are seeing what's going on in this country. And it's just like, dude, everything is more expensive. This is insane. What are you doing to us? It's so good, man. MAGA AF. Damn right. One more time. All right. For those that weren't prepared, it's just too good.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you. Staying fresh, staying cool. With Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better. Mentos fresh. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
It's great, man. I fucking love it. So that song is it's just so catchy. Again, we all remember that one. Am I going to add that one to the intro? Maybe. I might add that one to the intro. It's so damn good. It's so damn good. We got JMNZZ450. And says majority of the debate will be the moderators dogpiling Trump, then muting him when he tries to respond to their lies. While I'm stating the obvious, so I can say called it later. Fuck Joe Biden. Hail the 199. Yeah, you are stating the obvious, but everybody knows it. Everybody knows that's exactly what they're going to do. Thank you for the 50. That's the first 50 of the night. Let's go. Jeremy should make a video like that. You know, I will. I'll have to give him credit though, because but yeah, I wouldn't mind making a video like that. That'd be pretty cool. Now there's a lot going on right now on social media in general. There's this whole thing with Biden and how they're melting down. It's really kind of weird that. So Biden had this freezing moment with Barack Obama. Barack Obama had to lead him off the stage. That got a lot of traction over on social media. And then you saw the left-wing defenders were doing everything they could to tell everyone, like, hey, that's not what happened. The right-wingers are lying, yada, yada, yada. And then you had this damning piece of video, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not sure... I'm not sure that Donald Trump can recover. Okay? I hate to give you guys the bad news. Well, we just tell it like it is here at CobraCast. So I'm not sure that Trump can recover from the next piece of news that I'm about to show you guys. All right? I don't think anyone saw this one coming. Are you guys ready? Oh, man, this is tough. This is tough. Melinda Gates announces that she will be voting for President Biden and not Trump because of the heinous things Trump says about women. Melinda, who is worth $11 billion thanks to her ex-husband, made the comments during an interview with Gayle King. So, yeah, man, I don't know how Trump recovers from this one. I'm not sure how he recovers. Man, it's going to come down in this election to the women turning out in the battleground states. They turned out in the midterm elections and said, this is enough, and we have to do it again. Let's listen in.
It's going to come down in this election. It will come down to the women turning out in the battleground states. Women turned out in the midterm elections and said, this is enough, and we've got to do it again.
Does that mean you will campaign or endorse a particular candidate?
More than likely, yes.
Do you want to share who that candidate might be?
Well, I don't think it would be any surprise. I think, first of all, I think it's really important to say that I have voted in some elections Republican, in some elections Democratic. But in this election, I cannot vote for a man who rolls back women's reproductive rights and says the heinous things that he says about women. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely am not voting for Trump, and I will vote for Biden.
Wow, what a shocker. What a shocker. I mean, unbelievable. So, yeah, I mean, who cares, really? I just thought it was a joke to play that because because Bill Gates' ex is endorsing Joe Biden, that must mean Trump's in big trouble, ladies and gentlemen. All right? That must mean Trump's in big trouble. It's over, Donald Trump. They have the high ground. It's over. Except Donald Trump, and again, I want to be clear, while I'm happy about this information, it makes me very, very nervous. It makes me extremely nervous. But right here, The Economist forecast Trump is now at a 72% chance of winning. That's a new high. That's a new high. 72% chance of winning through this forecast. May 11th, Trump had a 55% chance. June 5th, he had a 61% chance. June 17th, Trump is sitting at a 72% winning chance of winning, which again, that scares me because we all know they cannot stand Donald Trump. We all know that they are going to do everything in their power to stop this man. And we then had these comments from Alex Jones, which definitely are concerning, to say the least, because as we know, Alex Jones is more right than wrong. And so this happened right here. Here we go.
Alex, I have to ask you, and I'm going to interview you for a minute. Alex, what do you think they'll do to President Trump between now and Election Day?
You're reading my mind.
What will they do to him?
God literally gave us Donald Trump imperfect as most men or women that God raises up in history. But he is a man of steel. He is a man who has ice water in his veins. He is a man who gets stronger under attack. And so they have already put him through hell with all these show trials and rigged courts, civil and criminal. And they are going to try to assassinate President Trump. Make no mistake about that. They are going to try to pull out all the stops. And so we've got to pray for President Trump many times a day. And we've got to bust our rear ends to get out there in America, because the people are waking up and they're ready to become fully awake, and let them know that the WF and the UN and Bill Gates have said they're bringing new lockdowns, more forced injections. They're cutting off the farms. They're cutting off the energy. And if you think the economy in free fall right now is bad, it is going to be 10 times worse. So this is existential. We are at war with the globalists, and we must now recognize that this is a war. This is just as important as 1776, and in the context of the population of the world, the weapons we have now, it is more important. This is a continuation of the fight between free, open societies and tyrannical world government. And the left represents the most evil, wicked, anti-free market corporations on the planet, led by BlackRock, that thinks it controls your life.
And you know, he brings that up, and this is all because of the map forecast that we're seeing across the board right now. And then you look at this right here. Let me see if I can find it right here. This is a Trump support among black voters. 3 times what it was in 2020. 3 times. Dude, Trump is crushing it right now. That is an astronomical number that's not going away. That number is not going away. That is insane. So Trump is crushing it across the board, and we're going to talk more about that here in just a minute. But we do have a MAGA red $100 from Colonel Douche Nozzle. $100. All jokes aside, we need that election map to come true so that the results are completely and totally indisputable and unquestionable. But at the same time, I'm afraid that map will make people complacent. We need to play like we're prepared for the worst. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for that. And I agree 1,000%. And that is what I have been saying from the last, couple of months now. I've been talking about, hey, we really need to make sure that we do not get complacent, because it's really, really scary that people are going to be complacent, and we can't let them get complacent. And that's what worries me about a lot of this stuff. Now, again, information is power, okay? Information is power. So, yes, getting the information, knowing what's going on and understanding what's going on is crucial, and I'm glad that we are getting that information out there. But it's also, you don't want people to feel like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about anything because Trump's crushing it right now. That is not the mindset at all. Now, if you go over here, I saw this video right here. This is from election time. And I haven't watched all of this yet, but this is so Trump takes the lead in Virginia and Minnesota. This was only uploaded 4 hours ago, and this is the latest. This is the latest that we have. So let's see what happens here. Let me get that right there. Okay, let's see.
Donald Trump has surged in the latest 2024 election polling and has actually taken the lead in the states of Minnesota and Virginia, 2 states that Biden won handily by margins of 7 and 10 points in the 2020 election. And so in this video, we're going to take a look at the 2024 electoral map based on the Hill's latest polling averages and see the impact of these new changes. Starting off in Washington and Oregon, we don't have any polling averages from the Hill yet from these two states, but they are pretty solid Democratic states. I wouldn't be surprised if the margin went down to likely in one of these states in this election, but generally they're pretty safe for Democrats. California, though, we do have a polling average. Biden leads by 24 points in the Golden State. He's been ahead throughout the election, although Trump is doing better and better, and this 24%.
I don't expect I don't expect Trump to win California, but the fact that he's closing the gap at all, it shows that there's this nationwide momentum that's building. And I'll be honest with you, if every single person in California actually went out and voted, Donald Trump would win California. But I don't think that I think most people in California just dismiss it, that if they're Republican, I think they just dismiss it. They're like, there's literally no reason to even try and go vote anyway. They can't do it.
Lead is still significantly less than his 30-point victory in the 2020 election, so California will be a solid blue state. Moving on to Nevada and Arizona, our first two competitive races. The Silver State is going to be very competitive this year. Joe Biden might have won it by 2 points in 2020, but that was the same margin that Hillary Clinton won it by in 2016, and of course Clinton's performance throughout the entire map was pretty poor. The last time a Republican won Nevada was George W. Bush in 2004, and Donald Trump really could become the next Republican to win it. If you look at the latest polling from the state, Trump actually leads by just over 3 points.
And you look at those trends right there. Around November into January, November 1 is where a lot of the gap was created with Trump and Biden, and it's been consistent. Again, Trump doesn't lose support. Trump doesn't lose support. He just doesn't. And he's not going to. Once you've made the decision that you're supporting Trump, you're not like going to go, oh, Trump said something offensive, I can't be a fan of him, I can't support him. Trump doesn't lose support. Just doesn't.
He's been ahead since October of last year. Biden was polling pretty well in the summer of 2023, but as we went into the fall and the winter, Trump has taken a lead that Biden hasn't been able to recover from. If you look at the polling, you basically see a sea of red, Trump leading in virtually every single poll from the state. I mean, just keep scrolling down. It's all Trump leading. We have some polls that show a tie. One poll recently that had Biden up by 4, but that was the only one in a very long time to show that. So Nevada undoubtedly is currently favoring Donald Trump. We're going to see what happens in the end, but right now it is very much in the Republican column, and currently on this map, it is a lean Trump state. Down in Arizona, we're seeing something pretty similar here. Biden wasn't actually able to win the state by 0.3%.
We're only talking about a handful of states that actually will have any impact on this election. And obviously Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, those are really it. Like, that's what it comes down to. Like, if Trump wins Nevada, Arizona, and Pennsylvania, I think that puts him over. I think that puts him over 270. I don't even think he needs to win Michigan or Minnesota at that point. But we're only talking about a handful of states that actually do matter. And, Georgia's obviously there, but Trump's leading in Georgia by a lot at this point. Georgia doesn't even seem like a swing state.
First Democrat to carry Arizona since Bill Clinton back in 1996. However, Biden is on track now to lose the state, as he's behind in Arizona just like in Nevada, this time by 4.6%. And again, Biden was actually leading until the end of 2023, where Trump took a lead that Biden.
And somebody asked me if I'm going to be live election night. 1,000%. Hell, we will be live for the whole entire thing. It's going to be awesome, and I cannot wait. I am looking so forward to it. So yes, we will be live election night, no doubt.
And hasn't been able to recover from. And if you look at the polling, I mean, again, a sea of red. Trump leads in every single poll out of Arizona. I'm basically going all the way back to the beginning of this year. So Biden really doesn't have a chance here. And at least as of right now, Arizona is a pretty solid lean Republican state. Now moving on to Colorado, 10 electoral votes that Biden won easily in the last election by a solid 14-point margin. today, Biden only leads by 7 points in the polling, and it's pretty consistent. If you look at the most recent numbers, I mean, the latest poll shows Biden ahead by just 6 points. Clearly, he's not going to win this state by a double-digit margin, and this is reflective of Biden's nationwide trend downward when compared to the 2020 polling and results. And so Colorado is barely even going to be a likely blue state. New Mexico is probably going to vote similarly to Colorado, so just to be nice to Biden, we're going to...
And for anybody that, I know, you dismiss the polls a lot. Like, the reason these polls are so important is because historically Donald Trump has not polled very well. That's why this is important, that he is leading in so many places, is because Donald Trump historically has not polled very well, and he is polling exceptionally well right now.
Going to place it in likely and not lean. While for Donald Trump, he is on track to winning virtually every single state here in the middle of the country. They are not going to be close. The 2nd district of Nebraska right now, polling is favoring Biden. He did win this district by 7 points in 2020. I think it can definitely go down to the wire. Trump can definitely win it back. But for right now, the numbers do favor Biden ever so slightly.
Hey, I'm not going to be making fun of anybody in the way they pronounce words. Have you ever listened to me? I mean, I'm not as bad as Beardo or Gary, but I'm not good.
And so moving down to the Lone Star State of Texas, 40 electoral votes. This is going to be a pretty big prize for Donald Trump. He leads by 9 points in the state, very similar to his 2016 victory when he was able to carry it by that 9-point margin. In 2020, though, it went down to 5.6. Really not that great of a performance if you consider Mitt Romney even won Texas by 16 points in 2012. But today, Trump is performing very well here, leading with 50% of the vote. So Texas is going to be likely Republican. Before we continue, only 10% of you guys are subscribed, so please take the time to subscribe right now.
Hey, that means you're hitting the algorithm. That's not a bad thing, okay? That's not a bad thing.
Down to Alaska and Hawaii, both of these states are going to be pretty solid for their respective parties. Alaska always been a red state. Hawaii has been blue for a very long time. So both of these states will not be too competitive, although there is talk that Hawaii could get very close, which is definitely possible considering Biden's very poor handling of the Maui fires. He basically left them out to dry, but Hawaii is still a state that Biden won by 30 points in the last election. I think that can go down to around 20, but it's still going to be a blue state. Hawaii has...
What is wrong with you, Hawaii? What is wrong with you? Never been to Hawaii. I've always wanted to go, but that makes me not want to go. What's going on, Hawaii? I mean, how's this happening? How are you that much out of your minds? Come on.
Has been very liberal for a very long time. Now, moving up to the Midwest, this is where a lot of the key states are going to come into play. And we're going to start off with Minnesota, 10 electoral votes. This is a big one because Donald Trump is now leading in the state by 1.6%. The first time he's led in Minnesota in the polling average.
Look at the climb that Donald Trump is on. Look at the climb. And this is all because of indictments and all this other stuff. Trump is surging in Minnesota.
Over Joe Biden. If you looked at the most recent polling, Trump is ahead. We have one from McLaughlin from June and another one from them back in May. And even the polls that Biden's leading in, I mean, he's leading in by 2 and 3 points. I mean, this is within the margin of error. So really, anyone could win Minnesota. And Donald Trump has a history of doing well in this state. He came within 2 points of defeating Clinton in 2016. And of course, the Rust Belt as a whole has been shifting to the right, and that's been happening for a very long time now. And so Minnesota flipping would be a pretty big deal because no Republican has won the state going all the way back to 1972 and the election of Richard Nixon. So Minnesota right now is going to be lean Republican.
That's crazy.
Iowa, on the other hand, though, is going to be slightly more solid, although according to the polling average, Trump isn't really doing all that well. Although if we do know that he's going to win by at least 10 points in the state, but the polling average from the Hill tends to really overweigh the most recent poll. So as of right now, according to the average, Trump leads by 3.1. But the margin here is going to be pretty similar to Ohio, and we'll take a look at Ohio in just a few moments. And to get out Illinois and Indiana, Indiana's going to be solid red. Illinois could go into the likely range, but it's still a pretty safe blue state that Biden's going to win. Now moving on to Wisconsin, Biden leads by 1.3% actually. Trump has led throughout almost the entirety of the cycle so far, but very recently there was one poll that showed Biden ahead by 2, and that's basically what put him over. The polling in Wisconsin has been known to severely overestimate Joe Biden in the 2020 election. Biden was supposed to win the state by 7 points. He eventually only won it by 0.63.
I'm sure he won. I'm sure he won the state. He won the state.
Actually, a smaller margin than Trump won the state by in 2016. So Donald Trump is definitely still in the running to win Wisconsin. There's no doubt about that. The former president, I would say, is still favored here, especially if you look at the polling from some of its neighboring states, which are typically more liberal than Wisconsin. If we move over to Michigan, 15 electoral votes, this tends to be the most liberal out of the 3 states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, the 3 blue wall states. Even though the blue wall was taken down by Trump in 2016, Michigan was the closest in 2016, and Biden won Michigan by the largest margin in 2020. So looking at the polling in the Wolverine state, Donald Trump currently leads by 0.5%, and he's been ahead since October of last year. Michigan, just like Wisconsin, really overestimated Biden in the polling in 2020, and if you look at the numbers as a whole, it's a lot of red. We see some sprinkles of blue there, but Trump leads in an overwhelming majority of the polling in Michigan, something he never did in 2020, and he still came pretty close to actually winning the state. So right now, Michigan is going to be tilt for the GOP with that 0.5% lead.
Let's go.
And to finish off the Midwest, we still have Ohio and the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. Starting off in the Buckeye State,
Ohio's
Donald Trump leads
locked in
by 8.4% in Ohio. This is what we're going to see in Iowa, although even this is a pretty small margin. If you go to 538 or Real Clear Politics, Trump is leading by a solid 12-point margin. This is mainly a result of that most recent poll showing Trump ahead by just 8 points. So Ohio is going to be likely Republican, although it could fall anywhere between that likely to solid range this November. And finally, in Pennsylvania, this is Joe Biden's birth state. I mean, this is a state...
Joe Biden can't go a fucking speech without mentioning Scranton, Pennsylvania. And, like, he's so shut up. He's been doing that for as long as I can remember him being in politics. Just can't stop talking about Scranton.
And he really has to win. Joe Biden will have a very hard time winning the presidency without the 19 electoral votes that Pennsylvania would give him. And so when looking at the data right now, Donald Trump is actually performing better in Pennsylvania, where Joe Biden was born, than both Wisconsin and Michigan. Trump currently has a 1.7% lead. And if you look at the polling, I mean, it's virtually all red. Only one poll anytime recently has shown Biden to be ahead. So the state of Pennsylvania is going to be lean Republican. And so when looking at the Midwest as a whole, we see a lot of red, just that very small patch of blue in the middle there, very similar to what we saw in 2016 when Trump was able to win the election. Up in the Midwest, this is a pretty solid Biden region as a whole. Now, just to be safe, we're going to give New York and New Jersey to Joe Biden as solid blue states. Obviously, if you look at the polling, it's more around 7 to 10 points right now, but these are still regions that Biden's guaranteed to win. It would be very surprising if Trump actually won them. So just for right now, for this map, because we're not pulling averages in them, we are going to fill many of these states just as solid blue so that we don't waste too much time on them. New Hampshire, though, is a state that we do have to talk about. As of right now, Joe Biden only holds a 3.7% lead based on the latest 10 polls. Biden is still leading in the state, but I mean, his margins just continue to go down like they are nationally. New Hampshire is becoming competitive once again. I mean, if you look at the polling prior to this, Biden was leading by 10 points in just October of last year. That is no longer the case. He's now only up by 3.7, and just like Minnesota, New Hampshire is a state that Trump can win. In 2016, he came within half a percentage point of defeating Hillary Clinton. New Hampshire was not expected to be close. And so this should be very worrying news for the Biden campaign that he's barely leading in the state now, a state that he won by 7 points in the last election. So New Hampshire is going to be lean blue, while for the state of Maine, Trump is performing very well in the state, but it is still a state that
Gmail user says, how does D-Day Cobra Clips have fewer subscribers than this live stream has viewers? I know! I think because everybody watches the stream, they're like, we don't need to see the clips, but subscribe to D-Day Cobra Clips.
it's been historically Democratic, and so for right now, we're just going to place the state into the lean Democratic column, although there definitely is a very good chance that Trump can actually win it. Now, moving down to the south, this is where we're going to finish our map. A lot of electoral votes left for Donald Trump from these deep southern red states. These are all going to be very solid for the former president. There's no doubt that he's going to crush Joe Biden in this region. And even in states like Virginia now, too, it seems
now,
that...
see, look at this. He's already... Now, again, this is a forecast. This is based on all of these polls. Right there. He is already at 250 electoral college votes. All right? It's because you didn't name it the Cobra Clips 199. I'll do that right now. I'll literally do that right now. But anyway, Trump's at 250 right there on this map. And we already know Florida is going red. It's over.
Trump has
at that point
taken the lead in the entire southern region of the United States. So looking at the polling from Virginia, Trump 43.9, Biden 43.7. It is a small lead, but I mean, look at this polling average over the last year. I mean, Biden leads by 12 points when the election cycle really first starts to kick off. I mean, it goes down, but then Biden still maintains around a 4 or 5 point lead for most of the winter, but now he's totally lost it. Donald Trump is the favored candidate in Virginia. Now we have a poll that shows him leading. The three latest polls conducted by three separate pollsters all show a tie in a state that Joe Biden won by 10 points in the last election. That's how far he's fallen. So Virginia now is going to be tilt for the GOP for the very first time. North Carolina, though, Trump is performing significantly better in. This state came down to a 1-point margin in 2020. Trump did come out on top, and this was a state that Biden was supposed to win if you just look at the polling from 2020. And as of right now, Trump leads by 5.4%. Nothing really too much to talk about here. It's going to be a rather competitive state, but Trump is going to come out on top. The Tar Heel state is currently likely red. And to finish off the map with Georgia and Florida, 46 electoral votes combined between the two states. Now, Georgia was actually a blue state in 2020. Biden flipped it, becoming the first Democrat to win it since Bill Clinton in 1992. He won it by 0.24%. It was the closest state of the entire election. If there's any state Biden's going to lose, Georgia is first in line. And that's exactly what the polls are telling us. Trump leads by 4.4% in the state. He's actually been leading since June of last year, so it's been a year. Trump's been ahead this whole time. He's not going to lose the state, especially considering that the polls actually did have Biden winning Georgia in the last election. Polling in Georgia has actually been very accurate over the last few election cycles, whether it's Senate, governor, or presidential races. So if there's any state where the polling is something that you might trust at least a little bit, it is probably going to be the state of Georgia. And I mean, Trump leads in virtually every single poll. The New York Times actually had the former president up by 10 points in a poll just last month. So the Peach State will fall within the lean Republican category, although we all know it is not going to be very competitive at all. Biden should not be wasting time on this state. And finally, in Florida, 30 electoral votes.
We already know what happens in Florida.
This used to be very competitive. I mean, just look at the previous results. 2016, Trump barely won it. 2012, Obama barely.
And hey, look, credit where credit's due, all right? Florida, a lot of that, like, DeSantis has done a great job. I have been a massive critic of him since he started to run for president, and I stand by all of my criticisms. But as the governor of Florida, DeSantis has been fantastic.
He won it even in 2008. It was very, very close. John McCain lost Missouri, or almost lost Missouri, but he still somehow was able to get very close in Florida. In 2004, Bush won by 5, but 2000, the margin was 0.09. So Florida has been one of the most competitive states in the country for a very long time now, but that is no longer the case. Florida is now a pretty red state. I mean, on par with states like Ohio, Iowa, and Texas. That's how red it's gotten. And I mean, looking at the polling, Trump leads by 6.3%. If you go to Real Clear Politics or 538, that leads 9, 10, sometimes even 12%. So the Hill definitely favors the most recent poll a little bit too much, as you can see, +4 for Trump in that most recent one, but a poll right before it had Trump leading by 10. So Florida, by no means, is going to be competitive this cycle. It is going to go to Donald Trump, and that's an easy 30 electoral votes for the former president. And so right now, based on the Hill's latest polling averages, with Trump having flipped both Minnesota and Virginia, if he gets Wisconsin, his number will go up even higher. But as of right now, Donald Trump is expected to win 325 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 213, which means that Trump is on track to easily win.
That is what we call a landslide victory, ladies and gentlemen. That is what that is, a landslide victory. Now, again, that's all just that's the forecast, and that's what a lot of different pollsters and forecasts are saying right now, that Trump is operating on that level. And that kind of brings us back to what I said earlier about his percentage to win. And that makes me nervous, because we all know that we've seen what we're seeing what the powers that be are capable of. All right. They are capable of anything. They will shut down the whole fucking world. They will shut down the whole fucking world just to stop this man, okay? Just to stop this man. So I am absolutely terrified. What the fuck? C3P meme is putting scary stuff on my timeline. And because I have to see it, all of you have to see it, okay? All right? It's bad. It's really bad. Let me read some super chats first. It's really bad. Ministry of Wrong Thing says, maybe I'm alone in this, but Jack Black's speech might have been cringe, but it doesn't change my opinion of him. Unlike every other celeb, he didn't demonize the other side at any time. I respect that. I honestly did not even listen to Jack Black's clip. I haven't heard it. I saw it going around, and I just have not listened to it. It doesn't surprise me, though. Zevin Cross says, shut up, silly woman. Mark of Reality says, Trump proposed to eliminate income taxes on tips. You should write that on every receipt you give someone a tip. More people will see it and at least consider voting Trump. 1,000%. Vice Pretend says, from the news, I'm seeing Trump plans to go full Jeffersonian and replace income tax with tariffs. Yes. That's he's been mentioning that for a while. Colonel Douche Nozzle says Tanner is Beardo's butt buddy. Damn, Beardo catching strays. Gerald Armstrong says, I think Biden will be the nominee. Too much money raised for his campaign. They don't want to waste it. Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't agree. I still think that, well, I hope that Biden's the nominee. All right? I hope, but I'm still worried that he won't be. And that's what concerns me. What should concern all of you is the clip that I'm about to play. Okay? It's rough. You can blame C3P meme of the Dilly meme team. All right? Here we go.
What do you make of the political climate of the United States now?
Well, I like Biden. Mm-hmm. I like Biden. I think he's done a good job. I think he's compassionate. He's smart. He supports the right things.
How do you feel about the specter of a second Trump administration?
I will move. I can't live in this country if he became president.
But where would you go? Where would you go?
Brought me to England.
Mm-hmm.
I like England.
Holy shit. Oh, I know why. Oh, that's rough. That is rough right there. Hail to the Dilly meme team, though. Some of the stuff that they post is absolutely insane, man. It really is. I love the Dilly meme team. But yeah, I haven't seen that Jack Black. I have not seen the Jack Black speech. Again, I saw it hit my feed. I saw a lot of people talking about it, but I personally didn't even listen to it. These celebrities are like, no one, their opinions mean absolutely nothing. The fact is, I didn't even see it worth roasting over. That's how much I didn't care. That's how much I didn't care. Where's it at? There was another one right here. Okay. we Chuck Schumer, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a Chuck Schumer meme. First day on the job. Chuck Schumer, everyone. Here we go. Chuck Schumer. Holy shit, dude. Good old Chucky Schumer. First day on the job. And I'm very, very happy that he found a job that is going to be worthy of him. This was such an embarrassing moment for him that he deleted it. So he uploaded this image of him grilling out where he had cheese on a raw patty, and he was getting roasted. So he ended up deleting the tweet. And of course, the internet is forever. I'm not sure if you know this, Chuck Schumer, but the internet is forever. Okay, so so good, man. What a clown. What an absolute clown. All right. Hello, fellow grill users, says Meme TV. What up, Meme TV? The internet is a wonderful, wonderful place. It really is. Now, we do have some of the CNN weirdos are kind of panicking right now. Here we go right here. Here we go.
Biden and Trump among black voters compare where we were at this point in 2020, compare where we are now. You know, at this point, look at this. In 2020, Joe Biden was getting 86% of the African-American vote. Look at where it is now. It's 70%. That's a 16-point drop, John. And more than that, it's not just that Joe Biden is losing ground, it's that Donald Trump is gaining ground. You go from 7%, single digits at this point in 2020, to now 21%. And again, John, I keep looking for signs that this is going to go back to normal, and I don't see it yet in the polling. If anything, right now we're careening towards a historic performance for Republican presidential candidate, the likes of which we have not seen in 6 decades.
But I thought Trump was a racist, and I thought it was only angry white men in their basement that were voting for Trump. That's what I was told. I was told that. So I guess we're going to get a rant from Mark Hamill. Maybe Mark Hamill can talk about how much black people have ruined the country by voting for Donald Trump. I'll be waiting for that one, Mark Hamill. I can't wait to hear Mark Hamill complain about black people voting for Donald Trump. I can't wait for that one. That one should be glorious right there. That one should be glorious. All of this is we're all coming to a head. All of this, all of their lies, all of their bullshit, it's all getting exposed, and it's glorious to see. Well, here we go right here. MSNBC. Here we go. In total panic mode right here. Here we go.
Irritable interpretation of what Bill Barr is saying here, right, is something like the president of the United States on a regular basis would blow off steam. I think that was his phrase, right? Yeah, he would get mad. Right. And he would say things around the table like, let's imagine saying something like, not, I want to have this leaker found and executed. But let's imagine he's just blowing off steam. He's saying, you know, if we could find that leaker, I'd like to take him out of the back of the White House on the South Lawn and have him shot. And let's say he wasn't being serious. Let's just say he was blowing off steam, right? Oh my God. As a matter of presidential temperament, is that the guy you want to have behind as the commander-in-chief?
Yes.
Sitting in the Oval Office. A guy who, when he's frustrated, when he's blowing off steam, again, to use Barr's formulation, is someone whose way in which he exercises his frustration is to casually talk about having people who work for him.
Stop making him cooler. You're just making him cooler. That's all you do is make this guy cooler. It's like they have their team meeting in the morning and they go, what can we do to make Donald Trump sound even more badass. Oh, that's a great idea. Let's say that.
Shot, executed in some way. Well, I don't know if that's by hanging or by a guillotine or by the firing squad. I think it speaks to a temperament that is the kind of temperament that leads you to a president of the United States who, when your vice president is on Capitol Hill in the middle of a riot that you have incited, and the people at that riot are talking about lynching the vice president, your temperament, that person, that president is the kind of person who says, I'm not going to do anything to call off the mob that I incited. I'm just going to sit up here and let it play out. And I'm going to say quietly, according to at least some of the reporting that we've seen in some Capitol Hill, some stuff from the January 6th committee, was said, maybe our supporters have it right here. Maybe Mike Pence deserves this. Maybe he deserves to be killed. Right. To be strung up on the Capitol grounds. I think whether you don't have to get all the way to Donald Trump was ordering the execution of staffers to think that this is a very dangerous temperament and a very dangerous mindset to have, and one that shows an enormous lack of respect for the office, for the seriousness of the position, and as someone who is not in control of himself in a way that you would want a president to be.
Well, let's talk about facts and reality. No new wars under President Trump. Historic peace deals under President Trump. Respect around the world for President Trump. Does that sound like the type of temperament that you want in the White House? Yes, absolutely. Do we want a president that other world leaders actually respect and fear? Yes, we do. Do we want a president who sits there and tells it like it is? Yes, we do. That is the exact temperament that we want. Strong men have to be strong. They have to say things that other people won't say. They don't back down when others will back down. And little bitches like this guy, who clearly gets pegged every night, little bitches like this guy are terrified of that. They're terrified of strength, unless it's their, probably buff girlfriend that's, putting the 12-inch strap-on on and railing them every night. That's the only strength they're interested in. But the reality of it is we need strong alpha males in leadership positions, and that is the bottom line. Leadership doesn't worry about your fucking feelings. Success doesn't worry about your fucking feelings. A job has to be done. Someone has to do it. Someone that will step up and say what needs to be said and establish himself as the true alpha. And that is Donald Trump. These guys are pathetic, dude. Absolutely pathetic. What a fucking beta this guy is. Like a definition of a beta right here. This guy. Pathetic. And the rest of them, the rest of these MSNBC clowns, which, by the way, what's his name? Joe Scarborough. Like, they used to love Donald Trump. Where's that clip of Joe Scarborough? And when they loved Trump, they had him on their show. They were like, oh, thank you, Mr. or whatever. I don't think he was president at that point in time. Let's see if I can find it. I know I got it somewhere. There's a clip when he came in and they were all so excited to see President Trump or Donald Trump at the time. They just couldn't believe it. And now, because of their NPC downloads, they're just going to sit there and pretend that they hate his guts. Now, they do truly hate his guts at this point because they've been told to. I cannot find that clip. I don't know where it's at. And Twitter search just isn't the greatest search in the world, but if one of the guys that's in Discord with me can find it, you can put it in the CobraCast chat. But it's just like from years ago. Before he became president is when that happened. Let's see here. All right, where are we at? What is this? Whoa. Let's see. Oh, well, that's... I don't know why this should not be breaking news, but it is. But look, I mean, there you go. Yeah. Is that? Are you going to be upset with that one too, MSNBC? You going to start crying about that one? Of course they are. They're going to start crying about that one too, aren't they? Oh my gosh, this is an attack. Look at Salty. Look at Salty Cracker's response. Hail Salty Cracker. Let's go. All right, let me get a few super chats really quick. See how you guys are doing. Eric for 10 says, let's see, I got an authentic Made in America World War II M1 Grand Rifle, explosive targets, and fireworks. July 4th, gonna be fun. MAGA. Let's freaking go. Angry Salt says, I do not want to be negative, but what are we going to do if these scenarios occur? And I pray not one, Trump deleted, two, steal the election like 2020, World War III with Russia before November 5th. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to answer those questions. I mean, you know, I think right now it's like the more and more, and this is why I got so aggravated with people like DeSantis and others running against Donald Trump, because ultimately we knew that Trump was going to be the nominee. It was about establishing that he was the guy, and we were not going to allow the system to dictate anything. And if that's what would have happened on the Republican side, I think that you would have seen a far easier path for Trump in a lot of ways. But people like, you know, DeSantis and others made it a difficult path for him, which he already had a difficult path. He was already facing attacks from all sides. And so the unity of the Republican Party, I think, is important right now. And the optics of that is important. But I also think people talking about it is important. So the fact that Alex Jones is out there talking about the danger that President Trump is in, I think that's a good thing. I think that discussion needs to be out there at the forefront, because the more that it's discussed in a public setting, the more difficult it will be for them to pull it off. Slade Lawton says, Tanner is a fig who can't even afford a Hershey bar. Tanner, you can't even afford a Hershey bar, brother? That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Let's see. Stupor Duck says, under Biden, women are losing rights to go to the bathroom. That is true. Meme TV says, we're a crazy bunch. What's up, Meme TV? Let's see. Kurgan says, this guy reminds me of Adam Sessler with a very punchable face. Yeah, good old Adam Sessler. Apollo Breathe says, I don't know what Mohap means. Harry Sisson will find out the hard way. The Fresh Maker, Mentos using my name without compensation. Tisk tisk. Axel Jensen says, Jeremy is a certified fig for hating on beautiful buff babes. Shout out to the Mama Gina. I was hating on people like Big Mike. What are you talking about? Really Now says, oh my word, has that snosberry tumor growing on her face always been that big? Let me see. Zinny Biscuit says, I've been a woman for 32 years. Trump 2024. Let's go. Oh, hang on. So MOHP stands, I see somebody says it's for Big Mike. So that means Michelle. Oh, I know what it means now. Okay. Is that what that means? Is that what that means? Michelle Obama, HAP. Holy shit, that's amazing. I didn't know that. Yes. Let's go. All right. All right, that's good. That's good. I didn't know that. That's amazing right there. The real question is, how did you not know that? Listen, I keep up with a lot of shit on the internet, all right? There's bound to be a few things that's going to get past me, all right? I keep up with way too much. Axel Jensen says, Trump has a Steiner math % chance of winning. East Coast Toasted Boy says, I mean, it's the only play they have left, no pun intended. I wouldn't call Trump a godsend, but he does have good intentions. Hope he does better. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, my thing is I don't know how the human being like Trump deals with everything without something else going on, some type of higher power like having like guiding him, because I mean, he's only a human being. He's a flawed human being, just like me, just like you, just like anyone else. He has feelings, he has emotions, and he has flaws. And I don't know how the dude overcomes everything he's dealing with, especially at his age. I don't get it. It's really wild. It really is. Let's see. Drugs, a lot of drugs. Trump doesn't do drugs. He doesn't drink alcohol or anything. SBZ says Trump must not forget to add Kurt Angle to the mix. Cole Pratt says, thoughts on the 538 election forecast. Some of the percentages in certain states seem off to me. I haven't seen 538s. I'll have to look it up, but I haven't seen 538s. Darth Gavel says Lord Trump is assembling an army of lawyers and poll watchers to stop any election fortification in November. Yes, we talked about that on the last CobraCast. Flag Ninja says Ninjas for Trump 2024. Jeremy is gay for $1. Thank you. Darth Gavel says Minnesota remembers the cities that burned. Colonel Douche Nozzle. Got to remember, though, even if Trump does win, we still need to win the House and the Senate if Trump plans on getting anything done. Word on that. Axel Jensen says if we wanted clips, we would watch mainstream news. Damn. Well, you clearly like them for Geeks and Gamers, because the Geeks and Gamers Clips channel is bumping. That one does really good. Polite Rude Guy says, do not get complacent. Vote Trump. Bring your friend. Let's see. Slagla says, this all reminds me of that red wave. Remember? Yeah, I mean, well, again, so you're falling for media bullshit, because the Republicans did perform well at the midterms. It was well, like, just because it wasn't like this absolute massive, like, insane win, so people started to downplay it, but the Republicans still did good. They did do good at the midterms, and you're seeing that right now with the result of that. The country's moving completely in a conservative direction, but again, we got to stay the course. Let's see. Vote Trump as much as you can. I agree. Benjamin says, all this means jack shit if the 50 states don't follow their own election laws. We need to make sure they don't. I don't know what that means. Something with this election. Don't mess with it. Yeah, I mean, I agree completely. Outlaw says, hey, Jeremy, I sent you 3 J.D. Vance videos a little over a week ago on Discord. You should check them out for a reaction. That guy is a legend. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought J.D. Vance up, because let's see. There's some percentages out for Trump's VP. And I want to see what everybody thinks about this one, and I'll obviously share my thoughts as well. Let me see if I can find that. I had it in my bookmarks. Okay, right here. So Trump's VP, we've got the Poly Market right here, and boom. So those are the percentages right now. Doug Burgum at 27%, Ben Carson at 16%, Byron Donalds at 11%, J.D. Vance at 10%, Rubio 10%, Sarah Huckabee Sanders 6%, Gabbard 3%, this Elise chick at 3%, RFK Jr. 2%, Vivek at 2%. So right now, obviously, there's 5 realistic names right there. 5 realistic names, but Burgum is way out in front. Ben Carson being second. Actually, I guess there's 6, right? There's 6 names there, but if you include Rubio, which I just do not think is going to happen. I pray that Marco Rubio is not Trump's VP. I don't see any scenario where for Rubio, he can't pick Rubio. He just can't do it. All right, there's 2 things. As dominant as Trump is, there's 2 things Trump could do right now, all right, that could just absolutely just would kill my enthusiasm for a Trump presidency. There's 2 things that are rumored that's out there. Marco Rubio is VP and Kevin McCarthy is chief of staff. If he does that, I might have to just tap out. Like, holy fuck, dude. If Kevin McCarthy is the chief of staff and Marco Rubio's his VP, I might just have to tap out. I might have to go, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? And those rumors are out there. Those rumors are out there. There's no chance that he would do that, though. I don't think. But who knows? You know what I mean? So again, I'm still on. Again, I don't know a lot about Doug Burgum, but the names on the list that are realistic is Ben Carson and Byron Donalds are the two names that I want. Those are the two names that I want. Rumors from who? Laura Loomer. Which, Laura Loomer does not put anything out there that can be damaging to President Trump at all. Laura Loomer actually put that out there about Kevin McCarthy. I can find that tweet right now. Let me see if I can find that tweet from Laura Loomer. I know I had that bookmarked because I was wanting to talk about it. But yeah, so Laura Loomer put that out there, and this was back during Trump's birthday that she had tweeted that out because it was showing how Kevin McCarthy was kind of kissing up to President Trump during his birthday, yada, yada, yada. And let me see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. Here we go. Laura Loomer says McCarthy is trying to become President Trump's chief of staff. Worst kept secret in D.C. It's absolutely nauseating. Kevin is really pushing hard for it, but it can never be allowed to happen. Don't see how term 2 will be any different with people like McCarthy, possibly in the administration. Yeah, that would be terrible. That would be absolutely horrendous. Could you imagine? If Trump picked McCarthy as his chief of staff and Marco Rubio as his VP? That would be the worst thing imaginable. That would be the worst thing imaginable. Well, so not that he's trying, but the fact that she's put this out here, though. And she's even putting it out there to let people know. Again, Laura Loomer is as big of a Trump supporter as you're ever going to find. And she doesn't put negative energy out there for President Trump or anything. She is as diehard of a MAGA supporter as you're going to find. And I just, no Rubio and no McCarthy. That's the bottom line. No Rubio and no McCarthy. That's it. Now, again, I know there's mixed things about J.D. Vance out there. There's mixed things about Burgum out there, but ultimately it's fine, whatever. I don't have a problem. I don't know much about those guys, so I can't speak to either one of them to have a strong opinion. Axel Jensen says Beardo catches more strays than the local pound. Really now says Chucky Boy gets to prove he's a working man, and MDs gets to prove they support people with disabilities. Win-win. McDonald's. 8 o'clock says, oh no, Dems don't own minorities anymore. JMNZZ. It's true. I'm an angry white man in my basement. Salute to you. East Coast Toasted Boy says, a girlfriend, it's trans because they're inclusive. 8 o'clock says, remember when Trump threatened to bomb North Korea and then was invited a week later? Yes. That's the alpha male energy that we need in the White House right there. 1,000%. Static says, Supreme Court fences ordered to go up. Something big is coming. Really? I didn't see that. Supreme Court fences are ordered to go up? I haven't seen that one. Did that just break or did that happen a couple days ago? Let's see here. Oh, I did. Now, I don't know how many of you saw this, but I was so happy when Trump called this out. I was so happy when he called this out. Here we go.
All this money into the Green New Scam. All this money into the Green New Scam. It's a scam, one of the greatest scams in history. Although I think Zelensky is maybe the greatest salesman of any politician that's ever lived. Every time he comes to our country, he walks away with $60 billion. And I like him. You know, on the impeachment hoax #1, he was very good. He said, no, the president didn't threaten me at all. He could have been a grandstander and said, I was threatened, right, Matt? He could have said, I was threatened. So I like him. But he's the greatest salesman of all time. He walks in. So now here's the beauty. He just left 4 days ago with $60 billion, and he gets home and he announces that he needs another $60 billion, else it never ends. It never ends. I will have that settled prior to taking the White House as president-elect. I will have that settled.
One of my favorite tweets from Trump, and let me see if I can find it. I'm sure it's still up. Let's see. So, at real Donald Trump. Let's see. Let's see. Is it alien life? Is that what he said? No, it's like life. He said something about like, I hope we don't find life on another planet or something like that. Let's see. There was like they're not even showing up in the searches anymore. I figured they would. Google doesn't even show Trump's tweets anymore. Well, that's gay. Well, anyway, Trump basically was like, I hope we never find any life on any other planets, because if we do, you can guarantee the United States will send them money. And he's right about that. Like, the U.S. just always wanting to send fucking money out, constantly sending money out. It's absolutely insane. People are sick and tired of this shit. And we shall see how that plays out. All right. Now, we do have, again, I got yelled at today. Oh, there it is. Benny Johnson just tweeted it out. Here we go. All right, here's the update right here. Let me see if I can find it. All right, fencing around the Supreme Court. Here we go. There it is. Fencing around the Supreme Court. What's gonna happen? What's going to happen? Interesting indeed. Somebody just said in the comments they can build fences around the Supreme Court, but not the country. Yeah, exactly. Interesting how that works out. Yeah, I mean, like, I thought that was racist and sexist. To put a fence up. I guess not. Let's see where we're at. Here we go. So, yikes. Watch Obama incoherently babble at his Hollywood fundraiser as Obama looks on in shock.
The economy's growing, people are doing better. We have the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. We have more people. We've had over 15 million people brand new hired into the workforce. You know, my son says we all have we all have various short-term descriptions for your jobs, for what you accomplished. And he should say Joe Jobs. And guess what? It's growing. The economy's growing. People are doing better. We have the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. We have more people. We've had over 15 million people brand new hired into the workforce. You know, my son says we all have various short-term descriptions for your jobs, for what you accomplished. And he should say Joe Jobs.
Holy shit, man. That's really fucking bad. That's really bad. This man, like, again, I just don't see how. I just don't see how. How are you selling 4 more years of this guy? 4 more years of this guy. It's insane. It makes no sense. It's not feasible. It's not realistic. There's nothing about this scenario that's realistic. None. Let's see here. Yeah, shout out to Benny Johnson. I know he was at the Turning Point action. And I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. Let's see. All right, well, Johnny Maga just tweeted this out. This will be interesting. Okay, let's see. Johnny Maga says, I'm rewatching the VP debates. Let's see, from last summer, fall. Doug Burgum won them handily. It's clear he has the highest IQ on stage. This guy would absolutely destroy Kamala in a debate. Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
To jump in because we're missing the point and every other network is missing the point. The reason why people are striking in Detroit is because Joe Biden's interference with capital markets and with free markets. The subsidies, we're subsidizing the automakers and we're subsidizing the cars and a particular kind of car, not every car. We're subsidizing electric vehicles. And when you decide that we're going to take all of your taxpayer monies, take $1 billion, subsidize a certain type of vehicle, and the batteries come from China. China controls 85% of the rare earth minerals. They're called rare earth because they're measured in parts per million. China is moving 100,000 pounds of earth in Indonesia, in Africa. They're literally destroying the planet so that they can make a battery that's in a car subsidized here. That's why they're striking, because they need 2/3 less workers to build an electric car. Joe Biden, this strike is at Joe Biden's feet.
I mean, all I know is we've got one Doug B around here who's a big supporter of CobraCast and Geeks and Gamers. But I don't know. Doug Burgum, maybe. I guess we'll see. Hayden Wayne says, check Twitter. I'm tagged. Okay. Is it your tweet? Trying to see. Let me just go to your account. Is it you, Hayden, that tweeted it out? If so, I'll just go to your account. Hayden Wayne, because I just retweeted you the other day. So, all right, Hayden Wayne, see if you tweeted me. I don't see it. You put it in. Just put it in my inbox. Just send it to me. Send me a DM, and I'll be the easiest way for me to find it. It's you? Okay. Well, I didn't see it on your timeline. Let's see. Hayden Wayne? Come on. Twitter work. Yeah, don't see anything that you've tagged me in. Yeah, just send it to my inbox. Send it to my inbox, and I will check it out. All right. Let's see here. All right, Carson all day loyal. That to me is the easiest choice for me is Ben Carson because of the loyalty. Because I know Ben Carson is loyal to President Trump. All right, I know that for a fact, and that's ultimately the best thing you can do in this situation is to have loyalty. After what happened last time, after what happened with Pence, you got to have the loyalty. There he is, Doug B for 50 on Rumble. Says 199. See, we got a Doug B already. All right, we got a Doug B. So thank you, Doug B. I appreciate that. Hail to Doug B, the man, the myth, the legend himself. All right, I'll wait for that DM to come through, and I'll catch up on a couple more super chats while we wait. Packing Proton says, listening to that zombie Biden talk, all I can think of is Grover from Christmas Eve on Sesame Street with a blank a look as a puppet can give, saying, and there you have it. Yes, that's essentially what it is. That Byron is the most loyal? Maybe. I like Byron Donalds. I met Byron Donalds. I've told this a few times, but I met him, and he was super nice, super cool. And it was like it wasn't like in a formal setting. Like it was a restaurant. After the Turning Point USA press conference, I had met him. So let's see here. All right, here we go. Hayden Wayne says, okay. So Hayden on Twitter, I know you haven't been on Twitter long, but if you start out a tweet with an @ you need to put a period in front of it so it shows up as an actual tweet and not a reply. So that's why I didn't see it on your timeline, because it was showing up as a reply. Because anytime you start a tweet out on Twitter, if you start out with an @ it shows up as a reply. So that's why you see people put the period in front of the @ so it shows up. So there you go. Let's see. Matt Gates, can you guys try to boot Speaker McCarthy again, just so Trump understands that we want him gone? Maybe also get some support behind making sure Marco Rubio is tossed out of the VP running. We can't stand these people. Also abolish federal withholdings as an option. Did you just make another one? Did you make another tweet? There we go. There we go. Now it's done the right way. There we go, Hayden. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully these guys, I have to imagine these guys have this on Trump's radar. I have to imagine these guys have made Trump aware. Because, like, I was listening to an interview with Dan Bongino and Ben Shapiro the other day. As a matter of fact, it was actually a good interview. It was actually a good interview. Let me see if I can find that. So, is Ben Shapiro. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I listened to a good portion of it, and there's one part in particular that I think is worth listening to. Here we go. Let's see here. I'll have to skim through it a little bit to find out exactly that part, but let's see here.
Lasting gift, if we can keep it. You know, Republicans have a knack for screwing stuff up.
So, I mean, what do you think that's based on? Obviously, Trump is one of one. He's a unique figure in American politics. You know, the question of whether we can keep it is partially dependent on the fact that, is there anyone else like Trump? And the answer is no. But I think there's something else that's going on. And the argument that I've been making about Trumpism since the beginning is that Trumpism is less a philosophy than a correct impulse. And that impulse is F the left. That what Donald Trump really is in a nutshell, because he's not somebody who's going to sit there and give you a 200-page tome on the American founding. He's going to give you exactly what he thinks in his most instinctive way. And mostly what he represents is a giant pulsating orange middle finger to a bunch of people who don't care about union workers, about blue-collar workers, about people who go to church. And because the Democratic Party has become the distillation of Barack Obama's philosophy without Barack Obama's personality, I think that there was almost an inevitable backlash that was going to occur. They've disconnected themselves not just economically, but also in terms of social values from the middle of the country in a radical way.
Yeah. Yes to all of that, but I think the first part you hit on is critical. The big, middle finger to the establishment class, whatever that means, because it means different things to different people. Again, we've been at this game a long time, and can we at least both agree the Democrats have always beaten us at the message game, right? I can tell you because I ran for office. I used to knock on doors in Maryland all the time, and I used to do this little trick. People would say, Republican or Democrat, if they wanted to talk to you. Most people just slam the door, but I'd say, how about this? How about I don't tell you? How about we just talk about a few things, give me 2 minutes, and then you tell me what I am. I'm running in Maryland. It's not hard to find Democrats. I would go knock on doors in Prince George's County, largely black, very wealthy county. I'd be done after the 2-minute spiel, and I swear to you, 7 out of 10 people go, oh, you're a Democrat. No, I'm a Republican and a conservative. They were stunned. So they've just beat us at the messaging game. I mean, they can tell you how they won, right? Bill Clinton goes on Arsenio Hall, starts playing this.
Yes, they part of that, them beating you at the messaging game, is somebody like Ben fucking Shapiro calling Donald Trump a racist and a sexist in 2015 and 2016, or Ben fucking Shapiro backing Ron DeSantis and going all in. Personalities like him, people like Dave Rubin, who just wanted to be in the DeSantis sphere, so they just basically all turned on Donald Trump. That's how the messaging gets broken, because of clowns like Ben fucking Shapiro. So let's just call it like it is.
The saxophone. Everybody's like, man, I want to be like that guy. They had no idea what he stood for. Most people out there were just like, this is the cool guy. Obama. Hopey changey. What did that even mean? No one knew what that meant. If they knew hopey changey meant your insurance was going to be canceled, nobody would have done hopey changey. But they did it because they're just really good at messaging. So Trump comes along. And we've had this stodgy, Mitt Romney, George W. Bush Republican Party forever, where we would go in like a methadone clinic, right? And we'd be talking about the Laffer curve. And the guys in there are like, bro, I'm like dying of a heroin addiction. Like, I appreciate that that's a thing, the Laffer curve, that's great, but what are you gonna do for me? And no one could talk plainly because we just came from a different stock. It was like this Brahmin class that had never related to middle class workers. And then the most ironic thing, you get this, Queens billionaire who should be correct. He's richer than you and me, man. He should be so detached from the middle guy. But because he was a builder, my father's been in this business his whole life. He'll explain it to you perfectly. You're dealing with union guys, cement workers, electricians, HVAC guys, steam fitters, tin knockers every day. This guy was one of them. It wasn't a money thing. It was a talk thing. And people, like you said, were just like, he kind of talks like me. The same losers I hate, he hates. Is it a thing? Is it about the Abraham Accords? Is it about, maybe to like the white paper crowd? You and I read a lot of that stuff. But let's be honest, we're voting Republican anyway. To a lot of independents, this is not a knock on them, Ben. These people work for a living. This is what we do. You and I get paid to analyze politics. People have real jobs. We don't have real jobs. It's a fake job. It is. You know it. Like, you and I get paid to do.
Yes, Ben, admit that you have a fake job because you do. I have a fake job. Bongino has a fake job. There are real jobs out there that people are working their asses off. And Ben thinks he's smarter than everybody. Ben thinks he's better than everybody. Ben, you have a fake fucking job. Admit it. You have a fake fucking job, just like I do. You don't have a real job.
We love. Talk about politics. But it's a fake job. You think the guy out there sitting in this Florida sun pouring concrete is reading through a 51-page white paper on the marginal effect of a corporate tax?
The more I listen to Bongino, the more I like Bongino. I've never really listened to Bongino, which I don't listen to a lot of these guys. But Bongino does have a kind of a grassroots kind of, he gets it. He understands it. Bongino calling his job fake is the most relatable thing he could say, because you have to understand how lucky we are to do what we do. Well, I am sitting here talking into a microphone on the internet, and people are sending me super chats that they make my life. They give me my job. They allow me the place I am in. You never talk down to people that literally give you your livelihood.
He's actually doing stuff. He's the one who listens to Trump, and he's like, hey, man. It's like Dave Chappelle. But Dave Chappelle said, he goes, I call this guy, what does he say in that segment about him being an honest liar? How he called Hillary out. Like, that's it. Like, everyone in politics bull you, but this is the first guy who does it honestly. Like, it's the strangest thing.
Is the question, I think, for the Republican Party going forward is that replicable? Right? In the same way that the Democrats sort of fell for the Barack Obama model, but they didn't have Barack Obama. Are Republicans going to do the same thing? So here's my grand unified field theory of politics.
Well, to answer your question, and it's a good question, what Ben is asking right there. It is as much as maybe, I dislike Ben and I don't trust Ben. It's a good question because Trump is it's him. It's not necessarily the message as much as it's Trump. Can that carry forward? Well, Ben, there was once a man named Ron, and Ron had a lot of momentum. Ron had a lot of momentum because Ron had a friend named Don. Don gave Ron a huge boost in his race for governor. And Ron listened to fucking retards like you, Ben. And Ron seemed to think that he was bigger than Don. So Ron tried to go head-to-head with Don. And guess what happened to Ron? Ron tucked his tail and ran back to Florida because he was nowhere near on the level of Big Daddy Don. Okay? So maybe motherfuckers like you, Ben Shapiro, should shut the fuck up and fall in line and understand that Trump is the man, and he always was going to be the man. But your boy, Ron DeSantis, fueled up by people like you and the Daily Wire, seemed to think that he had a chance to dethrone the king, and he didn't. But if Ron DeSantis would have fallen in line like any person that has ever been successful, a good leader knows when to lead and when to follow. It's literally like Tom Brady sat behind Drew Bledsoe. Tom Brady sat behind Drew Bledsoe. Yes, that happened. And then when his opportunity came, he took it and he ran with it. If DeSantis would have not had people like Ben Shapiro in his ear and basically saying, hey, Ron, you could be the future of the Republican Party. Support Trump, stand by him, do whatever you can to get this man reelected, and then 2028 is yours. But that didn't happen because of idiots like the Daily Wire.
Is that basically everything changed in 2012. It wasn't 2008 when Obama won the first time. It was when he won the second time, because by all rights he should have lost. He was wildly unpopular with the American public. His politics sucked. Everybody hated Obamacare. And then he basically decided to abandon the middle and run directly to his base and cobble together the coalition of the dispossessed along with some college-educated white ladies. And then he won based on that. And so that led to this idea in the Democratic Party that that was the winning coalition. And it led to the idea in the Republican Party that that was an unbeatable coalition, because the media kept saying that over and over, right? Now they're all ripping everybody about you're talking about the Great Replacement Theory. The people who are talking about the Great Replacement Theory first are people like Roy Teixeira, who's on the left, talking about how the demographics of the United States had changed, and now Republicans would never win another election. So 2016 happens, Trump comes out of nowhere, he wins the nomination, and then he beats Hillary Clinton, who's trying to replicate the Obama coalition. And the conclusion, because of 2012, for Democrats was, there's no way that Trump possibly could have won. He must have cheated. And the response for Republicans was, there's no way Trump should have won. He must work miracles. And so since then, we've been stuck in this sort of weird binary where Republicans think that Trump is a miracle worker and Democrats think that Trump is Satan. And we're sort of stuck there based on this, the falsehood, which is that the one who was actually out of the box in terms of his political approach was Obama. And the magic of Donald Trump in 2024, shockingly, is that he is the moderate candidate in this race.
That's true.
If you look at him positionally, Donald Trump has grabbed the middle on every single issue.
100%. It's interesting you say that.
And so the bigger point, the bigger question, and because my response to Ben's question is that, yes, we did, like, I understand that a lot of people are sour on DeSantis right now, and they should be, and I am. I am trying to say, like, we had a guy that had the trust of the people. Ron DeSantis, and this is not necessarily a knock on Ron DeSantis as a person, that he's no Donald Trump, but the truth is there is no Donald Trump. There is no human being walking the planet right now that is equal to Donald Trump in terms of charisma, in terms of presence, in terms of personality. There is not a room in this world that Donald Trump doesn't walk into, and he is immediately the most important person in that room. And again, I've repeated this before, that is not because he was president. He's always had that presence. He's always had that. When that guy walks in a room, he is the guy. He dominates the fucking room like no other person I have ever seen. It's incredible. The Rock could be standing there and Donald Trump walks in and The Rock looks like a pebble. That's Trump. He just has this magic that is unbelievable, that can't be described, and it never will be replicated. But Ron DeSantis had that MAGA energy going for him because of Trump putting him over the top in Florida. He did a great job in Florida. He was battling Disney. He won wars against Disney. And while he doesn't have the charisma of Trump, no one does. He had something going for him with the MAGA crowd, and he pissed all of that away.
That because it's funny when people paint this guy as like this far-right conservative dictator, and then, like you said, you go back and look back, and it was actually, the first term was quite a moderate agenda. I mean, I don't think there's any question that there were some positions. I mean, listen, I love Donald Trump, endorsed him early, but we've had disagreements on my show, on the air, about things like abortion. You know, he's more of a practical guy. And as I've said about Donald Trump, and I think this is the appeal of Donald Trump, and I think this is what bothers conservatives, because you're right, we are kind of stuck in this fugue state right now. Some old school conservatives, I think what bothers them is that he's transactional. And I don't say that as an insult. Like, God.
And this is why he this part of the conversation to me is the most fascinating part of it. So many people that are kind of like hardcore conservatives, right-wing people, they don't understand why Trump does what he does. It's because he sees beyond the politics of it. He sees how to get things done, which is the most important thing a politician can do, is how to get things done.
Guys like you and me and some of these old school guys who've been in the conservative movement, me kind of conservatarian, we're really passionate about this. I mean, don't kill babies. Like, I'm not, that's like my thing. Like, I always say, like, we can argue tax policy all we want, but if you're dead, you're not really paying taxes. So that's like kind of my thing. Like, don't whack babies, And I believe it. Like, that's in my soul, man. I'm not going in front of Jesus Christ one day going, hey, I didn't fight when I could. But he's transactional. He sees everything as a spreadsheet. It's his business background. I think it's his general unfamiliarity with dirty politics. He looks at something and goes, okay, you want to save X number of babies. You're not going to get that done in this state. So how about we do this? And it's like, I think the old school conservatives, sometimes even like me, are like, but then you're like, oh, he's not wrong about the politics.
That's right.
Like, we haven't done enough political work to get there yet. I think about other things too, like the Supreme Court thing. Did he personally look at each of these people and go, oh, here's what they're going to do about voter ID and abortion and the Second Amendment? No, he's a transactional guy. He's used to delegating. He goes, hey, Leonard Leo, Federalist Society, these guys have had some pretty good ideas. And that's what he does. And maybe the Republican Party needs more of a transactionalist. And you had asked in the beginning, can we keep this going? And the answer is, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure we have this great bench of people who can blend this new populism.
I think that there's something else that's happening with Trump, which is really unique. And what that is when you talk about Trump being transactional, it's not just that Trump's transactional. It's that the base is willing to accept that he's transactional. So when you say Mitch McConnell's transactional, which he is because he's a politician, the entire base goes, that's sellout, that. Right? And they do the same thing with any politician, John Boehner or Paul Ryan or now Mike Johnson, anybody who quote unquote caves to the left, who's being transactional because that's what politics requires, is the transactional. The difference with Trump is that we have such a visceral connection, the Republican base, with Trump, that he'll be transactional, but we trust him. We're like,
he's right about that. Ben is right about that.
Like, okay, yeah, but we get that, like, he's on our side. And I think that because of that, that's the part that I'm not sure is replicable. Meaning that when I talk about the people in our industry, it's sort of fascinating. I spoke at the House Republican convention. They have sort of a big get-together every year. And one year they were doing it in Florida, is when McCarthy was House Speaker. And I got up and I said to the members of the House, listen, my job is not the same as your job, right? My job is to say what I think is true and what you guys should be going for. And your job is to get 75% of that. Right. And it's not to do my job. It's not to go on TV and say what 100% would look like and that everybody is failing because of a lack of will and spine. Generally speaking, I actually don't think the Republican Party fails because of lack of will and spine. I think sometimes that's true, but I think generally the reason they fail is because right now they have like a 2-vote margin in the House. They don't run the Senate and they don't have the presidency. Right. And when it came to lack of will and spine, it seems to me like that was more when they actually controlled all 3 elected branches, right? I mean, the very early parts of Trump, they controlled the Senate and the House and the presidency, and they didn't do enough then. That's when we should be browbeating them. But the thing about Trump that's unique is that Trump can say, yeah, listen, I'm getting to get 75%. And I'll go, that's amazing. He's getting 75%. That's awesome. And I know that if he could get 100%, he would.
Yeah, but I think your analogy there, you got me thinking, which, happens a lot when you make a really good point. The McConnell thing, you're right. Why the disparity in kind of views? Why are we so sure that McConnell sold this out, but Trump didn't? And I think it's because I think they believe McConnell's playing a cynical game where Trump is really doing it because he believes people in the know have told him, like, this is the better path. I'll give
because Donald Trump doesn't need anything from being a politician other than his love for the country. The only thing that the critics of Trump can play into this is that it's his ego. I think his ego would probably have been far better if he never ran for president. I think that his life would have been better. His business would have been better. He would have had more money. He would have been worshipped everywhere he goes. He wouldn't have to travel around to stay away from blue states. So he doesn't need to be here. He's doing it, and he's lost by doing it. McConnell has benefited from being a politician. Trump has lost due to being a politician.
Give you an example. Here's what I mean. I think it's almost like political naivete is Trump's superpower, which sounds odd, whereas it's McConnell's curse because he's not politically naive. I mean, there's no one less politically naive than McConnell. Here's a perfect example: the Abraham Accords. How many Republicans or Democrats, and Democrats, the entire swamp has said, you will never get any of this done without solving the Palestinian issue. Don't even try. There's legions of tape. John Kerry, Republicans saying it. Don't even, but you got to fix the Palestinian issue. Don't even bother. Trump comes in because he's, and I say this like in a laudatory fashion, a compliment, and he's politically naive about it. He's like, that's the way it was done. Like, I don't really buy that kind of BS. Like, I'm going to do it my way. We're going to put a spreadsheet down. Here's the number of people I'm going to get on board. And then he does it. And everybody's like, oh my God, he did that. We weren't supposed to do that. Well, why weren't you supposed to do it? Because somebody told us we weren't supposed to do it. And I feel like that's the difference between him and a McConnell. Like, McConnell will get transactional and he'll grow a pair when there's something really on the line, like the appeals court filibuster. Listen, I'm not a McConnell guy, never have been.
It's the most important move a Senate Majority Leader has made.
Oh my gosh, he
in
saved
the last
the
100
Supreme.
years.
Might have,
100%.
he permanent. There's no. I don't care how much you hate McConnell. There is zero disputing that altered the direction of the country, Roe v. Wade and everything. But again, I think it was a political calculation at the time that likely could have been done earlier. And I think the difference between McConnell and Trump, too, is that McConnell's like a counterpuncher. He's got to wait for the politics to come his way. And I understand he's dealing with votes. He's got to whip stuff, right? But Trump will just throw it out there. And really, I think it's just that, can he be a bit impulsive? Yeah, I think that's an understatement. I don't think anybody doubts that. But I think people see like, wow, that's different. I've never seen that before. Good, like, let's move the Overton window in our direction. Democrats do it all the time. I mean, they're impulsive every single day.
So I'm going to stop it there, but it was a really good discussion between those two guys, and I did like the discussion about how Trump is transactional and how that he uses that in his being naive on the political landscape on certain things has benefited as well. I thought those were very good points that I absolutely agreed with, and so it was good. It was a good discussion. Okay, so I saw Doug B for another 50 on Rumble. Good point, Jeremy. Why do we send you money? Must be the brainwashing with all the 199s and the snake pit emojis. Thank you, Doug. I don't know why you guys do send me money. I do appreciate it. I don't know what I've done to deserve all the support that we get, whether it's here, Geeks and Gamers, or wherever else. We're going to be live on Geeks and Gamers Play tonight. So keep that in mind. And yes, because the chat said that we have to have party animals tonight. It was going to be Mario Kart, and the chat was like, no, F you, Jeremy. We want party animals. So I was like, all right, well, I'm here to work for the chat. I work for the people. Eric says, Madison, Wisconsin had a public nude bike ride. A 10-year-old girl was front and center, no clothes. What? People say there's no crime. People need to be shown that an arrest needs to be made. What? Holy shit. Good Lord. Jeremy is like Ukraine. We just keep sending him money. I got to get back to this. Madison, I'm so like, Madison, Wisconsin had a public nude bike ride. A 10-year-old girl was front and center. No clothes. People say there's no crime. People need to be shown that an arrest needs to be made. What the hell? That is wild. I got to look further into that, although I don't want to see pictures because, good Lord, that's terrifying. Junker says, did you see the new Stephen A. Smith video the other day about Caitlin Clark? Colin Rugg tweeted about it. I did. I meant to I meant to react to that on the last CobraCast, and we just didn't get time. Darth Racer says, Jeremy, relax. Ben's on our side. That's a good thing. We have to come together. I mean, I used to like Ben Shapiro until he basically, he was actively working against the best interest of the United States of America when he goes against President Trump. And they funded it. Like, it's not just being a supporter. Like, the Daily Wire put money behind this DeSantis nonsense. They put money behind it. They did everything. They were all in on that. And that whole thing is like, I'm looking at what can we do about 2024, and then what can set us up from 20. And I kept saying this back. I was like, man, if it's Trump DeSantis, we are set for 12 fucking years. We are set. They can't touch us. 12 years. Trump for 4, DeSantis as VP, and then DeSantis gets 8 years, walks into the White House after 4 years of Trump. It's a perfect scenario. Aided Clock says, I thought streaming over the white hot PC drained your social battery. Not when I'm getting super chats. Not when I'm getting super chats. Scully Bones says, Trucker here in the 850. Here's some money for your fake job, you soft cupcake. Kidding. You are a modern day Herald. Trump 2024. Thank you. And the 850. Modern day Herald. I appreciate that, man. That's in my neck of the woods. Old Renaissance Boomer with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. Appreciate that. Prayer says, Loomer makes Jeremy look like a Kranzenstein. Flag Ninja says, Dems, border wall, no. Barriers around government building, yes. Really Now says, yo, which son was he talking about? Because he was using present tense. Giving everyone advice from the one still alive isn't a good strategy, just saying. Good old Biden. Grand Potato says, you work for me. Now get back to it, pool boy. Archer Blade says, nod, win it, Ron the loser. Mike Hill says, Jack Black has made 2 terrible decisions, first starring in The Mandalorian and now endorsing Biden. Aunt Ryu says, well said, Jeremy. Thank you. Crypto BD becomes a new member. Thank you. Hub says he will not be the nominee in November. I hope he is. Talking about Biden. Philip Johnson says, we send you money to support the LGBTQ community, you fake. Let's see here. Lord of the Reese says, wish us luck, chat. Taking one of the cats to the emergency vet. His right eye is cloudy and he keeps trying to hide. Call me gay if you want, but this little dude has been my best friend for years. Bro, I wouldn't. Animals are important, man, and nothing but prayers for you and your cat. I totally understand that, man. Pets are. I'm a dog person personally, but pets are crucial. They're family. They 1,000% are. Let's see. 850 is Phoenix zip code. No, it's not. It's well, I mean, it might be Phoenix, but it's also Florida. Or not zip code, but area code. 850 area code for Florida. The Blind Lawyer says, have you guys gotten your gold foil Trump playing cards? They are bad AF. Check them out. I have not. B. Barrett says, buy yourself some Mentos. The Blind Lawyer says, you need to get Biden Tic Tac comments, you fig. Let's see, where are we at? Melinda Gates has a problem with what Trump says about women, but her ex-husband went to Epstein Island. What a harpy. Vault 95 says, time to raise your spirits. Boomers were generally lazy and would make every excuse possible to avoid going to vote. Well, there are fewer boomers around to neglect their responsibilities. Go vote. Vault 95 says, Trump looks good in polls, but leftists may shadow campaigns the House and Senate. Trump may win, but leftists take House and Senate, immediately impeach and convict Trump. Need to look into that soon. Mod Eric says, talk about them shutting water off farmers in Idaho. Even do it through lots of water. Fed signed big contracts for cobalt mining. Foreign companies give them water instead of farmers. Matt HTX says, Ben Carson for VP and Doug Burgum for Energy Secretary. Let's see. Powdered Toast Man says, I hope everything possible is done to firm up elections in swing states, lest we have to repeat of 2020. Objectively, a cat says, bless this chat. Supreme Leader Jeremy Osteen. Dougie B for 50. Jeremy Osteen's happy to see those $50 super chats. Does this guy whose pool you clean know you stream from his pool house? Now that's top tier grifting. Hayden White says, Jeremy, I'm sending you the link to the bike ride thing. Do not scroll down. Gays Against Groomers posted it. This one is edited. I'm scared to look at it, but I will check it out, and I might make a video on that. I've got to wrap this up right now because I have a stream in 10 minutes over on the Geeks and Gamers Play channel. So, 850 is Phoenix zip code. Yeah, zip code, not area code. My bad. Yeah, so 850 is the area code for here, but in Florida, in the Panhandle area. But thank you guys so very much. Appreciate all the support wherever you are watching, whether that's on Kick, Rumble, Twitter, or YouTube. It is appreciated. And we are playing Party Animals on the Geeks and Gamers Play channel tonight. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Amenti says, having Shapiro on our side is like having an unfaithful woman who's ready to monkey branch to the next guy and cuck us for a better prospect. Never forget he tried to unseat the MAGA king. can't forget it, and that's where I'm at with it. Again, I'm happy that Ben Shapiro is supporting Trump, but never forget. Never forget. Samuel says there should be an oversight on a political draft to make sure it is actually equitable, drawing from both main parties. Thank you, Samuel. Okay, so we're going to leave you with Sabaton, and then this stream is going to raid the Geeks and Gamers Play. It was going to be Mario Kart tonight, but the chat during Geeks and Gamers Daily screamed at me, threatened me with super chats. So, of course, I was like, all right, of course we'll do that for super chats. They didn't threaten me with super chats. They basically just said, you're going to play Party Animals. So I was like, okay, yes, sir, chat, because the chat is the boss. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Have a great evening, and Sabaton to take us away. Bye, everyone. Trump 2024. All right, guys, thank you so much. This is going to raid the Geeks and Gamers Play stream, and I'll see you guys in about 10 minutes over there. Love you all. Have a good night. We'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.